um, see what is the difference between soul mission and what we call personal mission, and to see that one is coming actually from the mind and one is actually the real calling of our hearts. How to live a life guided by our higher self, the reasons why we're not following our soul mission, the activation, and how to become actually our higher self and live the life from that space. So this is the agenda for today. I realized that I didn't do a PowerPoint presentation for years, I think, but I wanted today just to have this to stick better the information. So let's see how it goes. So I want to start with a small short story, and it's about the present, right? Like a small child, 6-year-old, was about the Christmas time, all right? Like he was waiting for the Santa Claus to bring him the present, and he walks up on the Christmas day and he goes to the under the tree to search for the present, and he takes one present, he unwraps it, and he was very excited. But when he sees what's inside, he's kind of disappointed and says, "Oh, how come I received this one last year?" He takes another gift, opens up, unwraps it. Oh, it's the same. The next one, the same. He runs to his mother and he says, Mom, what's going on? I received the same gift as last year." And his mother, very present and calm, says, "Of course, you received the same gift because you didn't use it this year." And she says, "Use your gift and you receive a new one next year. Share your gift, and you receive more next year." So what's the message of this little story is that we all have gifts that we came here with, and because we're not sharing them, we are not growing, we're not expanding, and we receive the same lesson. The universe gives us the same lesson over and over again till we get it and we use our gifts. And actually, this is one of the greatest joys in life, to find our gift and give it, right? Because we'll see one of the principles is that the gift is ours, but it's not for us. It's meant to be shared, to be offered to others. And there are so many benefits. It's not because many people are, well, of course, majority of people don't ask these questions. What is my mission? What I should do? But for people who are on the awakening path, especially for light workers, for star seeds, this is a very deep question because it's part of our mission, why we came here in this life. So it has so many benefits because it fulfills us. That's one of the most important things. It also makes us grow, develop, expand, become more, overcome the ego, the resistance. Like it has so many benefits. We live a life of how Oprah says, of really coming alive. There's no greater gift you can give or receive other than honor your calling. It is why you are born and how you become truly alive, right? But on all aspects of life, like following our calling, it's one of the biggest gifts we can have for us, for others as well. Because if we're not sharing it, others are not benefiting as well. But for us, it's because if we're not doing it, a part of us contracts. We're following the mind's plan, we're living from the ego, and actually, we're missing so much of life if we're not following this. And we'll see the reasons immediately why we're not doing it if we have so many advantages, right? And our soul knows, but we'll see there are more reasons or excuses why we're not following. And another question important to start with is why now? Why in this period especially? Because this has been, of course, is valid for all the time. But what is happening now with humanity, with the planet, it's actually a very remarkable thing. Because as you probably heard, you know that we are on this ascension path. Like Mother Gaia is also ascending from 3D to 4D, 5D consciousness. And the energies that are coming to Earth are huge. You might have heard about the solar flares, about the Schumann resonance that increased, I think, 6 times in the last decade or so. Even from when it was measured, I think from the 50s, it was constant until recently. So there are things, science confirms it, that it's happening. Something huge is happening, a big transition, a big shift. And we're shifting, like 2012 was also a shifting point when we actually got into this more accelerated. Another major uh, time, it's 2027 and 2032. In 2027, so we are already, they're not fixed times, but just to understand the trends. So we've been for millennia in the planning mindset, right? Like everything was controlled, was planned. We were doing with the mind most of the things, structural, pyramidal structures, right? And not and going into jobs, let's call them, where what is, like what will you do when you grow up? Like a lawyer or doctor, whatever, it's what is being paid well, right? So we're transitioning to this period where the most important thing is we're transitioning to individuality. See, what that means is coming back to our uniqueness, to our unique spark, to our essence, to our gifts. And this is what the new earth will look like. So coming back to our gifts, to who we truly are, and share that. This is how the new earth is actually inviting us to do. There will be a lot of shifts with AI, with a lot of jobs will switch, will shift. So a lot of old structures will collapse. So more and more, and you already can feel this, more and more people are having spiritual awakenings, are coming more and more back to themselves. So then there is this natural tendency to share that spark, your uniqueness, your unique vibration, which you came here with, right? So it's not only um, to find the mission and to earn money or so on, but it's actually what the divine plan is inviting us to do. So it's, as I said, now it's even we are supported to make this shift, to come back to our uniqueness and follow that. But in the same time, of course, there is a lot of resistance, and we'll explore the reasons why we are not following this, because one of the main things is, as you'll see, a lack of clarity. But before we'll go through the main reasons, I want to share very briefly my journey and how I got to do this work and share um, uh, these lessons, these sharings. So I started many years ago on the corporate path in finance, investments. I was a very good student in the traditional way of having a career, working for investment funds, corporations, Deloitte, investment banking, and so on. Used to study in US. And even though I had a very good career, earning good money, everything was very nice, a path arranged, something inside of me told me this is not what I'm supposed to do. And This happened many years ago in 2010 is when I quit the corporate world and I went to a retreat in Bulgaria for 3 months, a yoga retreat and meditation. I had no idea what I will do, but I just had this feeling that I need to do something for my soul, which was screaming and for me. And from then started personal development things first. Like I was with Tony Robbins and all the workshops of personal development and so on. And I got this calling to start doing seminars of what I was learning. And I wanted to do big seminars with large people, audiences, only that it was one of my biggest fears, which I will share later how I overcame it. And hold seminars with hundreds and hundreds of people. And that was going very well. We had tours in Romania and major cities. I think in only like 2, 3 years, we hold seminars with over 10,000 people, and everything was going well until the soul called again and said, like it was only the surface thing. That's what was saying, like something much deeper was calling me, and I was being called to a spiritual path to go much, much deeper, to find deeper answers of what life is all about, spiritual awakening. So this path took me all over the world, from Peru to India, Nepal to Japan, and so on. Having met great spiritual masters and a lot of meditation, a lot of inner healing, a lot of deep processes with which took me completely on a different path, which I never would have expected. And my life changed completely. Like I was living more like a monk for some years. We also built a meditation retreat in Romania, doing retreats and other things. But recently, what came like another shift, like the energy and the soul actually is guiding us all the time, and we need to learn to follow that impulse, was telling me to come back to, let's say, the world and share and to guide other light workers, star seeds, how to align with their soul mission, with what they're being called. Because in my journey, or I know or notice there are so many obstacles and challenges and fears coming up in doing that, and um, because I saw the whole process from different angles, I think I have a good understanding how this works and how to actually not only align with it, but actually how to embody it into physical reality. So going back to the main reasons why we're not following our soul mission, it's first of all because we don't have the clarity. And this is a bit tricky one because it's not actually true. And we'll do a short activation a bit later. But why I say is not true, because we actually know. If we go deep within, we actually know what we're being called to. The confusion comes because there are at least two parts of us, and the other one, it's a conflict like between the soul and the ego. The old identity wants to keep us safe, who's, the logician, but it's not safe, but who you think you are, and so on. So this creates the confusion. It's not that we don't know or we don't have the clarity, but we're stuck in a vibration that is not aligned with who we truly are. Um, Olivia says, attended a webinar where you can find your soul mission only from the level of the sixth chakra. Well, uh, um, yes and no, I would say. I would say that you can find your true mission instantly, because we are multidimensional beings, and in meditation we can connect with the soul and even with the sixth chakra or even higher, and we can have the remembering, right? The embodiment is the hardest part, because in meditation we can remember, but then to actually embody that frequency, that's the most difficult part, right? Which takes time, and it's connected, of course, to living from the higher self. Maybe this is what you're saying. Living from the sixth chakra is what we're going to talk about, is living and becoming actually your higher self. Let's see if we are on the same page. We'll get to that. Okay. So, as I said, one is the lack of clarity. The other one, it's all the fears that come up with this: the rejection, imposter syndrome, you know, having all this people pleasing instead of being who we truly are, self sabotaging, limiting beliefs, shadows, right? You know what I'm talking about? Anybody here? The mind's survival plan, or I don't know how, like missing the strategies, or I don't have a support group or a mentor, or the environment to keep us in the making this shift. And you can post in the chat if you want, from 1 to 6, which one is you identify with the most, with which let's call it main reason or obstacle that prevents you from actually living and embodying or following your soul mission. So, as I said, the soul mission, right? It's what we came here to be. It's from our unique essence, from our spark, our unique vibration, from our intention with which we came in this human experience. Our personal mission, it's always confusing, because I won't go now into too much details, but as we live our life, even in the mother's womb, even in the first years, because we experience traumatic events, our spark, our heart, our soul gets contracted. We close our heart and we develop what we call an ego, like the protector, which functions, of course, in the mind. So then the mind takes over. The ego is actually who is making all the plans for us in order not to protect us, right? And we believe we need to have a certain career, to follow a certain path, which will keep us safe. And we're trying to find our personal mission with our mind. And that will never work, will lead us only astray on a path that is not actually our life or what we're being called to do. Only our heart, which is connected with our higher self, is the one that tells us the way. So it doesn't need to make sense from a logical point of view, but it's a deep expansion, a deep calling. So we'll do, as I said, an activation, we'll connect with this to have this remembrance. Right. So as I was sharing before, we come into this. This is just a short journey of embodying and to actually aligning with our soul mission. So our star, right? When we come in this human incarnation, even from the first years, because as I said, we experience trauma in different ways. Doesn't even have to be traumatic externally or look like, but for the sensitive souls, that can be traumatic. Even like a parent looks away and doesn't give the attention, and so on. So our heart is closed and we develop the ego, and we're living a life of compensation, we call it, like a life that is not our own. We're doing something that is not aligned. We are having friends and relationships and karmic relationships which are not aligned with our true essence, but and who we think we need to be. And most people, I mean, we all, I would say, start the life in this way, but at some point, and in these times, as I was saying, with these powerful energies, more and more people are awakening and are remembering their identity, or their soul is calling them home more and more. So the awakening is the initial phase when we kind of our strategy, our mind strategy of life of compensation is being a bit shaken. And we think we're losing control, things are breaking up, more things are disintegrating, we're thinking it's something bad, crisis, but it actually can be a good thing from a higher perspective, which is shaking us, it's awakening us to remember who we truly are and why we came here. And from here actually starts the coming back journey. And one of the biggest parts in this is taming the dragon, meaning um, healing our wounded parts, taking mastery of our attention, of our inner kingdom, I call it, right? To do the inner work before we actually can find our spark, our gifts, because they are on this ascending journey. And then, of course, we share it, we embody it, and we come back and close the circle, right? It's a very fascinating story, journey. It's like the hero's journey in a way, but yeah, it's very, very deep, and we need to be aware of all these stages and what to do in each of them. So the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away, says Pablo Picasso. So there are a few principles just to give us some orientation how to think a bit differently from what we would consider mission, right? Because the personal mission is totally different. So the soul mission is not what you came here to do, but who you came here to be. Because with our minds, we always think, what is my mission? What I need to do to solve, to do in physical reality, right? Who do I help? What do I serve? What do I do? That's not how we're gonna get to our true calling. The first and most important thing is to come back to who we truly are, to our being, to our spark, to our higher self. We actually came here to be. And when we live in alignment with who we truly are, then life shows us what is actually our calling, what we are being invited to serve, to do. But that's not the point. That's not the focus on what to do. The focus is on what to be, on who I truly am. The frequency. So this is the way actually by which we serve the world the most, by being ourselves, by coming back to our authenticity, to our spark, to our unique essence. And by being that, we actually serve the world the best. We actually have the most influence, even if we don't do anything externally, only by going back to our essence, to our vibration, we're of the much more service to humanity, only by this. Does it make sense? Does it resonate? Remember? So the gifts you came here with you are a treasure for the world. And I noticed that especially for sensitive beings, we tend to, because we tend to feel like we're different, like it's something wrong with us due to our sensitivity, because the energetic body is different, and so on. So we are pushing down, because we think it's something wrong with us. We're pushing down the gifts. We're hiding them. We think something wrong with with sharing the gifts. And actually, the truth is, when we remember who we are, we remember that we came here with such a big treasure for the world that needs us desperately. But the first thing is to come back to our sovereignty, to remember who we are, to take back our power, our energy, to settle into our royalty, right? And then to actually see the value of who we are and our gifts, and come out of hiding. And the fourth principle is that the gift is not for me. It's mine, but it's not for me, right? Like as I was sharing before. And this is a deep one, because from many perspectives, but this is how the universe actually functions. We cannot experience ourselves, but in relationship with others. We cannot serve ourselves, but by serving others. So it's a relationship. So when we share our gifts, we actually serving ourselves at a much deeper space, because in in this space, what I'm talking about, and all the intention of this uh, workshop and training, it's actually to get us back to the oneness, to the frequency of 5D and beyond, because only from this space we actually can connect with our spark, with our soul mission. It's related to what Olivia is saying, like from the level of the sixth chakra, but it actually is from the heart chakra. Begins to open, to connect to the gifts, and the mission reveals itself from that. So, as I was sharing before, um, the soul, deep down, you already know what your soul longs for, who you came here to be, and what to do. So the only job we have to do, we don't have to discover, but only remember, claim, and accept that. And to be able to remember, you have to align to the frequency of your higher self. So we cannot remember or discover, or however you want to call this process, from the mind, from our current identity. We cannot think our way to remembering our soul mission, right? It's only a frequency game. The frequency gives us the clarity. So connecting with our higher self, it's actually the only path. And I will explain even a bit in depth later why it's so. So are you ready for soul mission activation, to do a small process of remembering, of connecting with our spark, with our short 5-10 minutes process, but it can be powerful if it's the right moment for each one of us. So I invite you to settle comfortably in your chair, take a deep breath in, and relax. Bring your awareness inside. Observe the respiration, the inhale, the exhale. With each inhalation, relax more and more the body. Put your intention to connect with the Mother Earth through the first chakra. Activate the energetic channel which connects our first chakra with the center of the earth. And just connect with the energy of Mother Gaia who supports us, who nurtures us. And as we inhale, we lift the energy, we raise it up the spine till the crown and above, connecting with the energy of the divine. And bringing that energy back down into our body and uniting the two in our hearts from the earth, from the sky. Breathing in our heart. And with each respiration, our heart field expands. You can imagine a sphere of light in our heart expanding till it covers all our body and even more outside. This protective shield of light which surrounds our body and where we feel safe and protected, where our heart can relax, can feel safe, our minds can take a break because there's nothing to do in this moment. And we're calling in home in this circle of light and in our spine and our heart. We're calling in all our energy that is being trapped, caught in different places with different people, events. We're calling back parts of our soul into our home, into our sovereign kingdom. We're taking back the power, breathing in and out, centering in our spine, in our vertical tube. In this place where we are whole, where nothing is missing in this moment. Staying present and coming back to our hearts and connecting deeper and deeper with our hearts. And from this space, invite you to connect with the energy, with the vibration of unconditional love. And we can initiate this process just by thinking of a moment where you felt deep love, either for a child or for an animal or for somebody dear, where you offered this kind of love, felt it. Just connect with this feeling with an open heart, opening more and more your heart and inviting this energy of love into your heart. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna step through a portal of love, which is gonna amplify this feeling 10 times. So we can imagine in front of us a portal, like a sphere of plasma, luminous portal. On the inhale, we're stepping through it. And on this exhale, we're feeling the energy shift and we're increasing, we're feeling 10 times more the energy of unconditional love. See how it feels in your body, how your heart expands even more. And now we're going to pass through the second portal, which are going to expand, amplify 50 times. Inhale and exhale, we're passing through and amplifying, feeling it in your whole body. See how your heart expands even more and holds even more this frequency. And the third portal, we're going to step and increase 100 times. Inhale, stepping through, exhale. And just enjoy this frequency, this energy. Let it permeate your whole being, your cells. Let them feed, energize this frequency. And from this space, I invite you to ask a few questions. From this space of unconditional love, where it's all complete, you're feeling whole, deep love. May I ask, what is my heart's deepest calling and desire? Or what does God want me to do? Or what is life inviting me to? What is inviting or wanting to happen? If I could do anything, what would I do? And let any symbol, image, sign come to you, even if you don't understand it yet. There is no mind, no logical mind, no analyzing in this space. Just a pure remembering of the soul. What I'm being invited to step into. How does my life look like when it's being lived from the soul. What will I do, have, be, relate? And the second question, who do I need to become in order to live this life? Who is this person who is a perfect match for this frequency? What is the identity of this person, of this version of myself who is living this life? How does he or she feel? How does he dress? How does she behave? Does she relate, eat? What beliefs does he or she have? What is the level of energy? How does he carry himself or herself? So we let receive any symbols, messages that are still to come. And when we feel complete, we can take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, coming more and more back into the body. Connect with the earth, here and now. And when we're ready, we can open the eyes and come back. So, how was it? Did you get any clues, ideas, symbols, rememberings? Or did you get the signature, the frequency signature of your spark? It doesn't necessarily have to be something specific, but the feeling of it, right? Is just the beginning. If you got more and more details, that's amazing. But this is just the space to coming back to your true essence. So this is what our GPS actually, and this is what we need to follow, because our soul calls us eternally in the direction of our highest path of our timeline. And answering our soul's call is not about a single revelation. Yeah, it's about lifelong relationship. So we need to learn how to develop this relationship with our heart, with our higher self. So, as you probably realized, we know the confusion or unclarity comes because there are other agendas of the ego, of the old identity, of the fears, of I don't feel ready or good enough, or is this even possible? I need to have the plan from A to Z before, right? And so on. There are so many excuses. It's not that we don't know what we are supposed to do, but we don't believe we can do it. So is it true? Let me know in the chat if it sounds true to you. Like you know what your soul is calling you to do, but there are also but and so, right? Even Steve Jobs says you can connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So the map is revealed along the way. So that's why we need the courage to trust the unseen, to trust this feeling, the spark, the higher self, the calling, to make the jump. And from there, the map, the path will be revealed. We cannot know the path from now, from the current self, from the current identity, because it's not a linear path. We cannot go there step by step with the mind to follow the strategies and, okay, now I do this and follow the 1, 2, 3 steps. It's the other way around. So we connect with this, we let the vibration, the message, the feeling, the intuition guide us. What is it and what are the steps? And we jump. Because, as I said, we cannot follow the linear mind to get us to our soul path. And this is such a huge shift because we are so used to functioning in the world from our mind. We make only logical decisions, we compare, we analyze. Especially, I was, as I told you, in the finance, I would do, you know, to evaluate companies, to make a comparative analysis, and to like to see if it makes sense, a decision, like put only into logical costs and benefits and so on. So uh, I was totally far away from the intuition. So in order to actually live our soul mission, it's only one solution. Can you guess what it is? As I said, it's not the logical mind, but it's actually becoming our higher self. What does it mean? Well, it means to change, to shift our identity. So as I said, we are in the current reality and we make a plan. I want to make this project or create this, I don't know, course or heal whatever comes or we're being called to do. So from our current identity, we're thinking, what actions do I need to do? What habits and so on. But actually, this is not going to work. And we don't have time now to explain all the nuances of it. But it's like, like on the GPS, we go with a car. We're going to a location. You see on the map that it's getting closer and closer, but at some point there is a river, and you cannot cross on the other side. You are blocked, and you circle and you try to find another way, but the river is still there. So the only way to get to the other side is to make a jump. And this is a shift in your identity or a quantum jump. We cannot get from our current reality or our current self or from the ego to our soul mission. Because, and it gives the appearance like we're taking actions, we're improving, we're healing, and so on, but it's just a trick of the ego. Because the ego was formed to prevent us from living our soul mission. Did you get that? Our ego was formed to prevent us from living our soul mission because it was when we were coming into this human experience, we came with this soul mission, with the frequency, with our spark, with our uniqueness. But because we got contracted, we got hurt, we closed, then developed the ego. And the ego developed different beliefs, story, like the story we tell ourselves, is too hard, to prevent us to actually living who we truly are. So the only way, because the ego won't let us, if we're doing only on a linear path to improve ourselves, and so on, it will give us the appearance that we're making progress, but it's just getting to the river. At some point, we need to jump, and that means to shift our identity and actually connect with our higher self in meditation, doing this higher self identity shift and actually living from that space. We used to call it U 2.0, but I believe it's a much accurate way to call it the higher self identity shift, because it's not a better version like 2.0 linear, but it's who we truly are. We're getting back to our true essence, to our soul. So um, it's not about strategy, only quantum jump, like choosing this timeline which already exists, and it's already in the universe, it's already created, right? So we're not doing it. It's just a frequency game. We're aligning with our higher self and we're embodying that frequency in ourselves. This is how we are embodying, we're becoming our true self. We don't need to fix ourselves. We just need to align, alchemize, and anchor. Right? These are the three steps, like the tree of soul alignment, of soul mission alignment, similar to what we did now before, like activating the soul mission, the higher self, and connecting with who we truly are, and expansion, right? The branches. Then is the alchemy of the limiting beliefs, of the fears, of the shadows, and what is coming up in this process, because inevitably they will show up. The ego won't let us do this. We'll come up with all the excuses, right? Which we talked before. And then is the trunk, the anchor, how we anchor this frequency in the body, in the cells. Because without this, it's just not complete. We'll just give the illusion that we ascended, we get in this high frequency, but if it's not down into the body, into the cell level, then it's not complete. And it has to do a lot with the nervous system, right? Because this is where actually the whole transition and embodiment takes place at the nervous system, which is connected, of course, with the body. But this process of becoming our higher self has to do a lot with the nervous system. This was one of my biggest realizations recently. After so much meditation, I forgot about the nervous system. And there are more states of the nervous system. If you meditate too much, it takes you to the dorsal vagus, it's called, which is more withdrawn compared to the ventral vagus, which is the optimal. But we'll talk more about this in the Becoming Your Higher Self program, which is a 4-week activation program where we actually learn how to do this process, like what we talked before, but it's in a very deep and step-by-step process. So in the first week, we remember who we are and see the illusion of the ego. What we touched on a little bit, like how the ego was formed and how we live a life of compensation. We go through some processes to remember deeper this, to see it clearly, what we created, what life we created, which is not ours actually. The second week, we connect to the soul mission and the mission blueprint. And what we do is like what we did now, to connect with the vision, and in the same time to see the identity of the higher self. Who is this person who is holding this frequency? How does she look like, feel, think, and so on. So we'll have a questionnaire of our higher self, and then we'll create a manifesto, and we'll create some tools to work with daily in order to help us embody this version, this identity. Then in week 3 is how we regulate our nervous system. What we touched on a little bit, how important is the nervous system, and which one is the optimal state to be in, and of course how to alchemize the old identity, because the ego and the old beliefs will come back for us. It's a very deep morphic field that is keeping us stuck in the old identity. There's a lot of old chemistry in our bodies. There's a lot of resistance, let's put it that way. And in week 4, we'll learn the even more deeper secrets, how to embody this higher self-identity, how to create the sovereignty space, how to take back our power to create the sovereignty, starting from our soul values, from defining our energetic space, and claiming more and more of who we truly are. So this is the invitation. If you feel called to follow this process in more depth, as I told you, it's a totally different process than what personal development is teaching, and even spirituality. It's a much deeper. It's a frequency game, but it's like the tree. So this is the model: expansion, alchemy, and anchoring. So at the end, I want to leave you just with a short analogy with the glasses, with the free glasses. All of them are full. And the question is, which glass is happier? Think about it. The small one, the middle one, or the big one? And the answer is all of them are as happy as the other. Because, why? Because all of them are full. So that means actually to live our soul mission, to live a full life, to have our cup full, and to make the most of our human experience. And we'll see that this is a combination of being and becoming. This is more the part of becoming, of filling the cup, the glass, but it's only centered in presence and in being and connecting with our higher self that we can do this. And when we reach 100th anniversary and looking back, to say it was worth it. We did it. So that was the presentation for today. I hope it was useful for you, that it brought some interesting or different perspective, I hope. And hope you'll join us for the intensive program to connect more and more with who you truly are and to live this life from the higher self. So thank you. Thank you for coming, and hope to see you soon. Livia says, take a leap of faith. The road ahead appears step by step. Nice. Yes. Thank you. Welcome.